I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years.
And I have given all the proofs of who is involved with Diddy. I have presented the videotape of Diddy's parties as evidence. Now no one can save Diddy and the other celebs. Jay-Z, all of them were Diddy's handlers. After watching the rest of the documentary, you'll understand everything.
The internet didn't just shake, it collapsed, combusted, flipped upside down, and caught fire the moment 50 Cent unleashed Part 3 of his documentary series exposing what he calls the hidden empire of Diddy and Jay-Z, 1 Second Social. Media was minding its business, and the next it looked like the world's biggest digital earthquake hit. TikTok froze, Twitter went viral. Instagram turned into a live courtroom with millions of self-appointed prosecutors screaming, "We need answers now." Because only 50 Cent could drop a documentary so explosive that it makes the Zeus network look like Disney Channel. He didn't just expose secrets, he detonated them, the editing, dramatic, the tone, petty perfection, the allegations. Spicier than a WWE grudge match combined with a Real Housewives reunion fight. Fans swear they had to pause the video just to catch their breath because every minute felt like a jump scare of celebrity revelations. But the real chaos erupted when people realized Part 3 wasn't just a continuation, it was escalation. Levels unlocked, shadows exposed, receipts revealed. And shade sharper than a diamond blade .50 Cent didn't hold back. He didn't blink, he didn't flinch. He narrated with the energy of a man who has been waiting for decades to press this nuclear button, and when he pressed it, oh, the industry felt it. Suddenly everyone from hip-hop legends to old school executives to anonymous close sources were trending for reasons no one wanted. From the moment 50 Cent announced he was releasing a Part 3 documentary targeting Diddy and Jay-Z, the internet knew chaos was coming, but Nitrogen Monoxide 1 knew it would hit like this. The backstory behind this war didn't begin last week or last year. This has been a decades-long volcano simmering under the surface of the music industry, waiting for the right push to erupt. And who better to push it than 50 Cent, the king of petty, the emperor of receipts, and the unofficial president of I Don't Let Anything Go Ever. This documentary wasn't a release. It was a revenge tour disguised as journalism. To understand how we got here, you have to rewind the messy, complicated, and downright legendary relationship between 50 Cent, Diddy, and Jay-Z. These aren't just celebs, these are titans who shaped entire eras of hip-hop. And behind their glossy award appearances and billionaire headlines were rumors, alliances, betrayals, and silent battles the public never fully understood. For years, blogs whispered about shady connections, strange industry stories, and odd coincidences surrounding the two moguls. But no one dared to pull the curtain back on them. No one except the one person who loves chaos more than a Zeus reunion fight, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. The seeds of tension date all the way back to the early 2000s, when 50 started taking over the rap scene like a tornado made of steel and sarcasm. Jay-Z famously warned his camp, "Y'all better step up, minus 50 coming," setting the tone for the competitive energy that followed. And Diddy? Well, Diddy and 50 were like two kids on opposite sides of the playground, pretending not to care while throwing shade from across the swings. Every interview, every awards show, every subtle joke. The tension built like the slow drum beat before a movie villain makes his entrance. Fast forward a few years and the leaks begin. Small ones, rumors, clips, industry whispers. Enough to make fans raise eyebrows, but not enough to ignite a cultural explosion. Until now. Because with Part 3, 50 Cent didn't just nudge the door open. He kicked it off the hinges and said, "Welcome to the truth, hope you brought snacks." The documentary's opening sequence alone felt like a trailer for a conspiracy thriller, featuring dim lighting, dramatic voiceovers, blurred faces, and anonymous insiders who sounded like they had been waiting years to spill the tea. As anonymous insiders who sounded like they had been waiting years to spill the tea. As an anonymous to spill the tea. As the documentary began rolling, fans quickly realized this wasn't just a continuation. This was the chapter where all the mess finally forms the storyline. Part 1 of the film dives into the origins of the mogul's rise, detailing the glitz and glam that made them household names. But halfway in, 50 flips the narrative on its head, introducing darker allegations, suspicious connections behind the scenes. Deals and timelines fans claim suddenly make way too much sense. Viewers flooded social media screaming, "How did we miss this before?" And then came the moment that changed everything, a leaked memo from years ago, connected to deals that allegedly tied Diddy and Jay-Z together in ways nobody expected. The documentary frames it like the Avengers discovering they've been manipulated by the same villain. Suddenly fans weren't just watching. They were investigating, pausing frames, zooming in on documents, replaying scenes like their Wi-Fi depended on it. The theories multiplied like rabbits in springtime. Some fans insisted this documentary was exposing long-hidden truths. Others insisted it was a masterclass in 50 being petty on a billionaire budget. But the internet truly exploded when a former executive voice altered, silhouette blurred, said one sentence that had viewers clutching their souls. People think they know Diddy and Jay-Z, but they don't know the world behind them. That one line felt like the entire documentary universe shifted on its axis. It implied depth. It implied danger. It implied secrets the public was never meant to uncover. The tension in the film thickened, and fans watching from home suddenly became detectives, flipping between the documentary and Google like forensic analysts. Then came the messy buildup, the footage of industry parties, strange alliances, questionable business moves, and whispered conversations caught on cameras fans never knew existed. Clips of old interviews resurfaced with new context. Quotes that once felt harmless suddenly sounded like encrypted messages. Every smirk from Jay-Z, every shrug from Diddy, every sarcastic comment from 50 Cent now felt like part of a master timeline people were piecing together like a Marvel multiverse storyline. The first wave of reactions hit social media like a digital earthquake. People screamed. People posted. People argued. Some claimed 50 was revealing the truth. Others argued he was stretching narratives for shock value. Some said both things could be true at the exact same time. But one thing everyone agreed on? Part 3 was the most explosive chapter yet, and this was only the beginning. Because toward the end of Part 1 of the documentary, 50 Cent hinted at a bigger secret he hadn't revealed yet. Something about a deal. A betrayal. A moment in hip-hop history that would change how fans see everything. The second the documentary rolled into its next segment, the internet entered full riot mode. Fans weren't just watching, they were screen recording, clipping, dissecting, and dragging every frame like they were preparing for a courtroom presentation. The escalation began immediately, with 50 Cent pulling out interviews, archived footage, unseen photos, and anonymous testimonies that felt ripped straight from a Marvel villain origin story. This wasn't storytelling anymore. This was character assassination, mixed with investigative journalism sprinkled with petty genius. As the documentary dug deeper, viewers started noticing a pattern, a recurring theme involving exclusive parties, secret meetings, luxury backrooms, and whispered alliances between Diddy, Jay-Z, and industry elites. The footage wasn't explicit, but it was suggestive enough to make the public lose their minds. Suddenly, TikTok creators became historians overnight, breaking down timelines, decoding symbolism, and using red string like they were building conspiracy boards in their bedrooms. You had teens explaining 90s hip-hop politics like they lived through it, the memes? Chaotic art. Twitter users posted side-by-side comparison clips, zooming in on Jay-Z's expressions like they were reading hieroglyphics. Others joked that 50 Cent had snuck into a CIA database to pull files no one even knew existed. The funniest meme was one where someone posted a video of 50 wearing a wig and trench coat sneaking around like a cartoon detective. It hit 3 million views in an hour. Even celebrities were liking the jokes quietly, privately, nervously, but then came the first celebrity reaction. A rapper posted a single emoji. That's all it took. The internet exploded again. Fans claimed it was confirmation. Critics claimed it was shade. Gossip pages declared it was symbolic support. In reality, it was probably nothing, but on the internet, a single emoji has the power to start a war. Suddenly, every celebrity post, like unfollow playlist edition, or cryptic quote was treated like a coded message tied to the documentary. And then Diddy's camp allegedly responded with a statement calling the documentary fictional entertainment, which sent Twitter into actual hysteria. Because anytime someone denies something, the internet takes it as confirmation. People were yelling, "If it wasn't true, why are y'all mad?" Others claimed 50 Cent had triggered the entire industry into panic mode. TikTok detectives said Diddy looked shaken in his latest public appearance, even though he literally just walked into a building doing nothing wrong. Then Jay-Z's side jumped in, not with a statement but through sources close to him, which is internet language for somebody whispered something to a blog. The sources said Jay-Z was unbothered and focused on business ventures, but the public didn't buy it for 1 second. Everyone kept rewinding the documentary, pointing to old clips, saying, "Look at his face here, that's a guilty smirk." People were diagnosing expressions like they were licensed facial psychologists. The contradictions were hilarious. One side said 50 was reaching. Another said he was unleashing truth the industry feared. Another said all three moguls were manipulating narratives for attention. And the biggest group of all said, "I don't know if it's true, but I'm entertained." Meanwhile, the documentary introduced an entirely new bombshell, a mysterious contract allegedly signed in the early 2000s. It wasn't shown in full, but the blurred document created an avalanche of conspiracy theories. Viewers paused their screens, trying to decipher words through pixels like they were cracking government codes. Some fans insisted the contract tied Jay-Z to a secret business deal. Others thought it linked him to one of Diddy's most controversial parties. The lack of clarity made it even worse, because now the audience could fill the blanks with their imagination. Celebrities started acting weird. A few unfollowed Diddy, a few unfollowed Jay-Z. Someone even unfollowed 50 Cent. Fans kept track like attendance monitors in school, posting screenshots with captions like, "The tide is shifting." In reality, these celebrities were probably just bored, but the internet needed fuel. And this was gasoline. Then 50 Cent escalated things by going live. He didn't say much, just laughed, smirked, played music, made inside jokes, and said, "Part 4 gonna break the internet for real." That single sentence sent fans into a supernatural level frenzy. People started predicting who would get exposed next. Some said Beyonce, some said Cassie, some said executives, some said politicians. The suspense was so intense it felt like everybody aged a year in 1 hour. What really made the situation chaotic, though, were the contradictions inside the documentary itself. Some witnesses contradicted each other. Some timelines didn't match. Some claims felt exaggerated. Others felt 100% real. This imbalance created a perfect storm where both sides could argue endlessly, the believers versus the skeptics. And every time someone tried to debunk something, another shocking clip would appear that made debunking impossible. And just when the audience thought they'd seen it all, 50 Cent played audio, muffled, cryptic, but extremely suspicious. The narrator claimed it came from a conversation that changed everything, and viewers swore they heard Diddy's voice in it. The audio was unclear, yet everyone pretended they decoded it perfectly. Did he just admit something? Did Jay-Z laugh? Is that background music from a club? The theories turned into a circus. Twitter's trending page became a battlefield of hashtags like, "The internet fell into the kind of silence you only hear after a bomb goes off, stunned, breathless, processing." And then, as part 3 began, that silence shattered into absolute hysteria. This chapter wasn't about petty shade or industry rumors anymore. This was the fallout, the aftershocks ripping through the culture, the careers trembling, and the alliances silently crumbling behind closed doors. No one expected part 3 to go this far, but 50 Cent clearly woke up and chose historic chaos as his mission. The documentary opened with a montage of news clips, old interviews, and symbolic visuals that felt like foreshadowing in a thriller movie. This wasn't a continuation, it was a recalibration, positioning viewers to see Diddy and Jay-Z through a lens they'd never considered. The music grew darker, the tone got colder. The narration became sharper, more surgical. It was 50 Cent's way of saying, if you thought the first 2 parts were wild, buckle up. And the fans? They buckled up. Immediately, part 3 dove into the emotional and cultural consequences of the revelations. Fans who once worshipped these moguls were now questioning stories they grew up believing. Moments once seen as inspirational now looked suspicious. Industry relationships that seemed powerful now appeared performative. It was as if 50 Cent handed the entire world a pair of glasses that made hidden details suddenly visible, and everyone was forced to reconsider how deep the shadows went. The fallout inside the industry was even more dramatic. Anonymous insiders claimed certain executives were panicking, calling lawyers, revising statements, and canceling public appearances. Some artists allegedly distanced themselves from both moguls, quietly unfollowing, deleting old photos, or simply going silent. The documentary showed patterns suggesting that several celebrities benefited from the moguls' power while others were allegedly silenced, sabotaged, or pushed out of the spotlight. Whether fact or interpretation, the narrative hit hard, but the emotional gut punch of Part 3 came when a former insider, voice disguised, face blurred with heavy distortion, said a line that froze social media. People think this story is about money and fame, but it's about control. That single line sparked a storm. Fans began reinterpreting every moment from the past 2 decades of hip-hop culture. The collaborations, the feuds, the Grammy choices, the sudden disappearances of certain artists. Everything suddenly felt connected, like a puzzle 50 Cent had finally given viewers the last pieces for. Then, Part 3 revealed its heaviest section, a breakdown of the moguls' alleged inner circle, the people who benefited the most, and the ones who paid the price for being too close. This segment was cinematic, chilling, and eerie in a way that made viewers sit up straighter. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was calm, the kind of calm that makes the truth hit even harder. Clips of old interviews looked like confessions. In hindsight, body language experts started trending, giving hour-long breakdowns on YouTube before the documentary even finished airing. And yet, the internet didn't know how to feel. Some were furious, some were terrified, some were obsessed. Some didn't believe any of it, but everyone was talking about it, and that's exactly what 50 Cent intended as the documentary continued. Fans noticed the tone shifting again, this time into deeper emotional territory. It began discussing legacy, how history treats powerful men, how narratives are preserved or erased, and how truth bends depending on who controls the story. 50 Cent framed himself as the disruptor, the chaos agent, the one willing to break the unwritten industry rule, protect the powerful. Whether viewers agreed or not, no one could deny he had succeeded in shaking the foundation. Then came the alliances, or the collapse of them. In Part 3, 50 hinted that several artists who once aligned with Jay-Z or Diddy had quietly reached out to him, either to express concern or to offer information. He never named names, but the implication alone was enough to send fan bases into meltdown. Suddenly everyone was guessing. Who flipped sides? Who stayed loyal? Who was scared? Screenshots of random celebrity interactions became evidence overnight, but the biggest emotional blow came near the end when the documentary shifted its focus to the future, to the potential ripple effects Part 3 could have on the entire industry. If even a fraction of the allegations were true, careers could crumble, deals could collapse, legacies could fracture, and more importantly, the culture itself might divide into factions. Those who believe the documentary revealed real darkness, and those who think 50 Cent is spinning narratives for shock value. This cultural split became the beating heart of Part 3. Finally, just when viewers thought the documentary had dropped all its bombs, the screen cut to black and 50 Cent delivered the most chilling cliffhanger of the entire series. What you saw in Part 3 is nothing compared to what's coming next. Fans screamed, blogs broke, TikTok shut down for minutes. Every few minutes, a new rumor surfaced. Some were believable. Others were insane enough to belong in a sci-fi film. But all of them kept the narrative alive. Even news outlets started reporting on the controversy, not because they believed it, but because they couldn't ignore how massive the online reaction was. The documentary's final minutes of Part 2 showed a shadowy figure claiming to know the real secret about the moguls, something even bigger than the allegations discussed so far. Fans froze, blogs screamed, reaction channels posted emergency videos. Because this wasn't just drama anymore, it felt like a cultural earthquake building underground. If you made it all the way through this documentary breakdown without dropping your jaw, rewinding a dozen times, or texting your friends, "Bro, did you see this?" Then congratulations, you officially have nerves of steel. Because what 50 Cent just unleashed wasn't a documentary. It was a cultural earthquake wearing a hoodie and holding a stack of receipts. And now the only question left is, what do you think really went down behind the scenes? Drop your theories, your conspiracies, Your predictions, we want all the chaos in the comments, because let's be honest, this saga isn't slowing down. If anything, we're just hitting the warm-up phase. Part 3 felt like a season finale, and a pilot episode for a new universe at the same time. And with 50 Cent teasing more information, more interviews, more footage, and more secrets ready to detonate on impact, you can know this story is about to take turns that even Hollywood writers couldn't make up. So stay loud, stay dramatic, and stay ready to refresh your timeline every 5 minutes now. Before you run off to rewatch those clips frame by frame like a detective with red string and a coffee addiction, do me a huge favor and smash that like button like it owes you money, hit that subscribe button like you're breaking into the industry yourself, and turn on notifications because trust me, you do not want to be the last one to hear when the next bombshell drops. Here at Fame Blueprint, we don't just cover celebrity chaos. We break it down, blow it up, remix it, and deliver it hotter than a trending scandal at 3 a.m.